Okay, great morning. It is Saturday the 11th. And today I'm going to draw a card from the Sacred Awakening Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle and the Isis Oracle. Oh, this morning I took Max out. He wanted to run. Oh my God. When he runs, he's cute. He runs like a bunny. He hops when he hits running. The two front legs go together and the two back legs go together. So he runs like this. I mean, it's probably good for me because he gets me winded when we go out and he wants to run. I'm running to try to, keep up with him. Times like that, I wish I had a scooter or something to go quicker. I'm going to take that book out because 9 out of 10, I may have to use the book for the Isis. I mean, every time I take these out, I do love the back of these. You can't see the colors so well on the monitor, but they're really nice colors. And so, Temple of Black Obsidion, the Dark Healing Chamber. So we will have to read that and see what that says. I am wearing black obsidian today. These are my things. Now, when I got these, it's down to one strand there. I have to be careful. I bought these. My wrist is so small, they were all way too big for me. So I went to take and cut it and redo it and tie it, and then it made it too hard to get a hold of the elastic thing to tie it. So I'm just hoping they don't break before the bead store is open again so I can go in and get the right stuff to restring them. I do like them. They are fun, but got to redo them soon. I like these cards that come with the edging silver. Now, the other thing I wish I would have done is rounded these corners. I don't like these sharp corners on these cards, but can't have everything. The last one is hope. Okay, so this is interesting. We have hope, imagination, and the dark healing chamber. So the two really don't need much explanation. The last one does. So let me see if we can find what it is. Here it is, Temple of Black Obsidian. Beloved initiate, the most challenging task is not to confront an external enemy, but to take courage in both hands and journey within to meet our own dark self and begin the healing task of bringing love, acceptance, and light to it. That is the sacred purpose of any enemy within or without, to bring us more deeply into our own being as we seek to find and heal the darkness within. The Temple of Black Obsidian is a ruthlessly honest place of raw love and healing, truly profound and lasting. Deep relief and transformation can occur here. Black obsidian is protective and revealing. It will prevent harm from external or internal forces, but it will also reveal that which has been lurking in the shadows of the self, trying to avoid being brought out into the open for fear of condemnation. The biggest challenge we face in entering the Temple of Black Obsidian is our own unwillingness to love and accept all parts of us. The initiate who is invited to enter the temple of black obsidian also enters into his or her own shadow, the part of us that's hidden from our own awareness, and is usually only experienced in relationship to others, quite often as projection. Lady Isis, as the dark priestess of the temple of black obsidian, invites you now to confront the parts of your own ego that you have denied previously. Why? Because in doing so you will gain more freedom, come to know yourself more wholly, and you will find that life experiences, opportunities, relationships, and breakthroughs that you have not been able to reach will suddenly become available to you. The dark chamber always leads to the light chamber, but one cannot avoid the initiation of the temple of black obsidian on the pathway to more light. Yeah, if you're doing a really intense path journey, you will get to that point, and this is again what Kundalini does when it's awakened. It brings up to the surface all of those things for you to see and to break through, to walk through, okay? So it's not an easy journey. You will definitely, have to confront your fears, have to confront your illusory drama that you've held to be as true, which is not true, okay? And you may face the dark night of the soul for a time. And that part is not easy. It's intense. It's difficult, but you can make it because you have to have hope. You can't let go of hope during that time. And some imagination. Now, the imagination, when it comes to the dark healing chamber, is the imagination when the mind runs amok. Okay, it's, again, continually putting these things out there. This is how people go into paranoia or, all of those things. They get locked onto something and the imagination makes it grow and grow and grow and grow because the mind is very inventive. Okay, so this is something that has to be confronted along your journey. Doesn't mean you're going to imagine your way out of it. It means this is the imagination that needs to be confronted. And once it's confronted fully, that will break and you will have the transformation that takes place. But again, first you have to, and you need to have hope. You need to continue to stay in your journey when you're going through this. Okay. But yeah, that's a big part of the journey, is to confront those things that have been driving forces in your past. And usually things that are driving forces have to do with some things we've encountered. Not the good things in life, but the difficult things in life. The bullying, the drama, just fear mode. You come in from one life into another life, and then you're still driven by some of the things that happened previously, and you need to get a handle on it. Okay. So yeah, if you're doing a intense path, you will eventually come to, like this says, the temple of black obsidian. You have there is always, like I said, if you have hope, you have that, that God's going to get you through it. Okay. Sometimes when this part comes up, you take it minute by minute, second by second, breath by breath, because it can be very difficult when all these things are flying in your face. It's kind of like, saw Buddha, the thing with Keanu Reeves, where the little Buddha was the name of the movie. And he's sitting there. And then all this stuff starts coming. These big fireballs are coming, and they're shooting thousands of arrows at him. And, he's sitting there, just, this stuff is coming, and he's not reacting. Okay? So that's basically what happens. These things come flying in your face. It feels very, very real at the time. This is why some people can go psychotic, because they can't back out of it and see it as a projection. Okay. They're unwilling to confront it. Their fear comes up, and they run from it. And then you can go into a psychosis because you are not confronting, you are validating it in your own mind. You keep validating these imaginary and drama-filled projections that come up from the depths of being for you to confront. Now, if you can stay there and you can confront it, it will eventually break, and then a transformation happens. But you can't run away from it. If you run away from it, you're giving it power. So this is also in learning how to not let these negatives be empowered. Okay? So it's a very good lesson for that as well. So let's see what else we have. Isis will assist you in preparing for this journey by encouraging you to not allow yourself to become your own worst enemy. Most of the fear we have before the dark chamber of healing is the fear of our own self-criticism and rejection. Again, these are the things that you've taken to be true, which are not true at all, which are fueling whatever drama that you remain in, your knee-jerk reactionary things that take place. Okay. Isis declares that readiness for the dark chamber requires a willingness to exercise non-judgment, compassion, and a readiness to accept the self in all expressions. To safely enter the dark chamber and be healed, you must be prepared to give yourself love unconditionally. You must be able to recognize judgments that you hold towards yourself, not as truths, but as old patterning. That's again what I'm saying. These projections will come. These are the things that usually fuel you, that you're trying to prove are wrong, or you've just accepted as, I'll just never be any good. I was told I'm never good. I'll never be any good. You just accept it, or you keep trying to prove it wrong, but you really don't, you really don't have a full rejection of it. It's still a seed of doubt, of it keeps fueling you because maybe it's true, or I'm going to prove them wrong, but you keep failing at it because, again, you've accepted it as a fact and you keep fighting against it. But as long as you've accepted it as a fact, it's going to keep that patterning in place. This is why the successful initiation of the dark chamber is a truly advanced stage of soul development. The heart has become willing to love unconditionally, and the initiate must be able to witness feelings that arise with kindness and acceptance, but not fall into them overwhelmed and crushed or deflated by any darkness found within. It is worth the challenge because finding peace from pain, self-criticism, self-doubt, fear, and self-judgment through healing in this temple is a gift beyond measure. Okay. Now in this book it goes into a lot more stuff. In this, the Temple of Black Obsidian, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 pages of stuff for you to go in. It gives you an incantation, which is not bad. It says, I call upon the temple of obsidian black. I call on the love of Isis so strong, stronger than any judgment or attack. It heals and makes whole any past wrong. I now choose to see the truth of my being whole. I see how in this pain I played a role. I choose to let pain of judgment be released. I choose to love and accept with deep peace. Transformation and healing now come to me. I love all parts of my being, infinite and free. Well, that's okay. But if you are using this as some sort of a mantra and you're not really facing that, then this is useless. Okay. This is really, at the end of it, this is maybe what you would come to once you've passed through it successfully. Okay. And have released these judgments and are not pulled in by them any longer. And you can see the fallacy of it. And I don't mean just see the fallacy of it on a surface level. And that's what most people think it means. Just surface level, you see the fallacy. Okay, I get it. But you're still driven by it. Okay? So this means really you got to get to the seed of it, the root of it, and pull it out so it cannot any longer continue to grow roots, okay, and hold that in place. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here. That's just part of the journey that you're doing. Eventually, you're going to have to face yourself and your own, let's call them the inner demons, your own inner demons that are fueling you, okay? Because they're doing nothing for you beneficially, really. You know, people sometimes that are driven to have a lot of wealth, maybe they've come from a poor circumstance and are going to show the world. They can get as much wealth as they want, but they still feel inferior. They still feel, you know, like it's, and they hoard it because they feel like it's going to be taken away. They feel like they've exchanged their inner being and their self-worth to an attachment of how much money they have or not. This is, again, something that fuels Trump. He is inferior. He feels inferior. Remember when that first person he had, I can't remember his name now, that was doing the reports. It was the news thing. And he was saying every day he had to make a big list for Trump of like 20 things that he's so fabulous about. Okay, if somebody needs that kind of buoying up, they are really, really insecure. They have no self-worth. And his self-worth is all built upon, oh, the economy and how much money I've got and doing great, and keeps fueling this drama. And that's why he's so afraid for his taxes to come out, to see that he got his money by money laundering, not because he was smart, not because he understood. I mean, how can you make a casino go bankrupt? He's gone bankrupt like 5-6 times, filed for bankruptcy. He's a failed person. Okay? He's not grounded. He can't stand for women reporters to ask him something. Even Fox News reported the other day, he was down on them. And, you know, any woman that says something, that's a nasty question. Anything that, you know, wants an actual fact other than his fantasy, he will go off on. Okay? People that can't accept what someone else is saying, again, they will get ingrained in this. They will get ingrained and just keep repeating the same drama over and over and over again. Okay? So, again, I'm going to leave this here for now. Hopefully somebody's gotten something from it. If you've enjoyed this or you've gotten something from it, please give a thumbs up. That is so appreciated. It doesn't cost you anything, and it takes a second to do. So please do that. And I want to give a lot of love and light to everyone. Please be safe, be well. Namaste. Those that don't know God within here recognizes God within there. We all come from that same singular source, all of us. Everything that you see in this planet comes from that same singular source, whether it's a flower, whether it's a person, whether it's a mountain, it doesn't matter. anything that you see presented here comes from that same source, that divine zero, that divine is. Okay? And that's something that you know very, very clearly if you get to the end of the path and you have that breakthrough where the idea of this meism and this persona just gets absorbed. It breaks. It it breaks. It gets absorbed into that light of that divine is, and all of the mistaken notions that you had are gone in one instant. It's done, and you're forever changed in an instant. Okay, so your whole being is changed in an instant. And it's again one of these conundrums, because in your life everything has changed and yet nothing else in the world has changed. But for you, everything has become changed in an instant, and you are no longer in that same consciousness as you were before, when there was doubt and there was, all these other things fueling. Okay? When you get to that breakthrough, one goes from the consciousness of Divida, where everything, the divisionary world is real, to Advaita, where the only thing that is real is that substance of that divine is, which everything is created out of. Okay, so you know that everything is created by this divine is. That's why karma is in place, because when you get absorbed into that divine is, exactly. It's like it's a love. It's perfection. It is energy. It's beyond the sun and light. It's beyond those lights. It's the light of lights, the life of all life and the death of all death. It's eternal, and there is that experiential thing of within one's consciousness, I have never been born and I have never died. I am that divine is. And all the rest of it, the soap opera of your life, was just a show of projection. Okay? So that's, again, maybe a little deeper than we should go in this talk. Yeah, everything changes for you in a heartbeat, in an instant. But it's a terrifying thing in that moment, just before everything breaks. You're compelled to go forward. You've done everything you can in life, and all you can do at this point is surrender. In the case here, I said I surrender myself, on the altar of truth. And it was terrifying. And you don't know if you're going to be possessed, if you're going to die. And you do die in one sense. That persona that you've been dragging around, that was in pain and was in depression and was in, all these things that were happening, it's gone in an instant. Okay? There's also the Bible verse that says, none see the face of the Father and lives. That's true. There is that dismantling of that personal ideation of a separate entity. But still, one is alive. But the person that you thought you were is dismantled. It's gone, never more to arise. And so this is why, a lot of times if you go through that, you have a different name. You have a different, because that person is dead. Okay? It doesn't come back out of there. Unless one has had a glimpse and the mind has not stopped and they reroute, then they can reroute into that egoic is, and that can be very dangerous, because the ones that come back and reroute into that, then they think that the ego is divine. Okay, and then this is why you have a lot of abuse that happens at that point, because they have not completed. They think they're completed, but they haven't completed. And you have ones like what was his name? Oh, Adida, that had his island and his harem and this, didn't complete. Came back, had a glimpse of it, that eternal is, and then they confuse it with ego, and they come back and they become even more egotistical. They become like narcissism on steroids, okay? Really, narcissism on steroids. It's because you don't get there by your own actions, you get there by divine grace. So you can never claim that I did this, I got there by my own action. No, it's by grace. Okay, it's by grace. Doesn't mean that you do nothing. You have to continue to do the path. You have to put these things in place. So again, it's another conundrum. You won't get there if you don't do the journey, but the journey at the end of it is by grace. Okay, it's the only way you can espouse it. Okay. So again, I have some people that want to manufacture things and say that I say I'm the only enlightened person on the planet. I've never said that. I don't believe that. I just don't know where the other ones are. Okay? That's all. But yes, Kabir was enlightened, Ramana was enlightened, Nisargadatta was enlightened. Okay? But as far as on this planet, you don't go looking for those that are enlightened. But I know, again, they're out there. Okay? And they're not going to have big followings like ones like Nityananda or any of those, Osho. That's why I've been so hard on it, because it just won't happen because those type of so-called gurus are feeding ego. They're pandering to ego. Okay? Holding out false hope that they're going to make it so easy for these journeys. The journey is never easy. The enlightened gurus, there are teachers out there. You no longer have to go around with, the dress of a sadhu or whatever. That's, again, another play. That's, again, another projection. Okay? Another projection, another play. When you finish, you go back. It's like with that divine saying, in the beginning, a chopped wouldn't carry water, and the end point is chopped wouldn't carry water. And in between that, it can be something different. But you start seeking, and you end, and again, but you can just come back into more regular life and live the rest of your life out. Okay? And then it becomes the play of God. They call it the play of God. That's why I do tarot cards. I do those things, because now it's the play. Okay? I've done the journey, gone through the difficult parts. For a time, yes, I was a sannyasi for a time. But, I don't need to wear the clothes of a sannyasi. I'm still celibate. It doesn't mean I have to be celibate. Okay? Even if I were with someone else, I would always be within the singular divine is. Okay? But it's not something that I'm looking for, projecting outward for. None of that. Okay? You're happy with where you are, with what you have. Okay? And you just enjoy life at that point. Because on the journey, it was a lot. I have to say, my journey was a lot of suffering. For a long time, I had depression, PTSD, flashbacks, horrible flashbacks, fear mode. A lot of times when you have PTSD, you have that fear mode. I had to be always with my back towards a wall. I had to be sitting the wall where I could see the entrance. I could see everywhere around me. Anybody in uniform would set off PTSD. Going to the VA huge trigger. I just shake. I would just shake going in there. I see a police or any, it doesn't matter what kind of a uniform. Any of that was just shaking, shaking, shaking. Even to go down and get my driver's license done, to go to that, it was really difficult, really, really difficult journey. Okay. But one can get through it. Again, it takes step by step. Once you begin, you cannot turn back. You have to keep going forward. Okay. And again, sometimes it's breath by breath, minute by minute, second by second, just praying to get through, and going forward. Okay. So I'm going to leave this here. Again, love and light to everyone. Namaste. Be safe. Be well, especially at this time. Please do that. Please do that. So thanks for tuning in.